showtime.
Good morning, Vietnam! Welcome to the party, pal!
See you at the party, Richter!
I didn't kill my wife! I don't care!
Get away from her, you bitch!
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
You did not gonna say that, did you? What I do have are a very particular set of skills.
To do the vibes.
I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Inconceivable!
Little Dallas multipass.
This is a tasty burger.
Please.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
I'm the bad guy?
And Hulk, smash.
I can speak with an English accent. Hit the hash pipe and join the National Guard. I could be elected president.
You went over my helmet?
What would you prefer? Yellow spandex?
I know, right?
The list is in the open!
Hey, where are the white women at?
They're digging in the wrong place.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Are you not entertained?
Second start of the ride. And straight on till morning.
Meow.
You son of a bitch.
21 gigawatts!
Wax on, wax off.
Oh my goodness, I am sporting a tremendous woody right now.
Bartender is the aristocrat of the working class.
You want to flip 6-3 whole play and you could score.
Cover me.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. On this team, we fight for that inch.
Might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
No ticket.
No ticket.
I get older, they stay the same age.
It's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. He's 15.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies.
Good evening, and welcome to the Reel McCoy. I'm your host, Meffistoe, and always with me, my hetero life mate. Oh, my feelings. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, buddy. I'm glad to see that you no longer have basically baseball gloves as hands anymore right now. Getting back to normal.
If you know, you know. What is the Reel McCoy, you might ask? The Reel McCoy is your weekly movie podcast where we ask you to go watch a movie you watch to come back to us, and we break it down for you. Now, June is a lovely month where all the children are off to their summer vacation in most parts of the world. So we decided to go back to school, and the movie that kind of spawned this entire endeavor is a movie we're covering today. It is Back to School. Now, the thing about Back to School is it's all about the Rodney Dangerfield show.
It is Thornton. It's almost essentially Rodney Dangerfield going, hey, you know what? I'm going to basically do my act.
Yeah, kind of.
And what this reminded me so much was that Robin Williams film where he was elected as the president, but it was due to the glitch where it was like, oh, that's just literally his previous stand-up special.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I pulled up my notes for some reason.
Yeah.
But yes, let's start before we address all the lovely chat. All my feelings. How many times have you watched this? And you will tell me that last week you've watched this twice.
Last week I watched it twice. I watched it once again this morning as I'm sitting here sweating my off, waiting for you to get past that little
bologna
bit.
sausage.
AC unit went out, so yeah, it's a hot one in here today.
Yeah,
I got
a hot one. A hot one over here too. That's just my AC is up and running. Thank heavens. Otherwise, I would be sweating more than you because I would have to if the AC was down, I would be here really sweating because it's a small closed room with 2 PC units in it, and I have to shut the door both for them not to disturb me and for me not to disturb them with yelling and screaming.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it's all hot today. So let's say hello to the crowd. It is Paul Harley and James Mendoka. And James, by the way, I hope I hope they didn't double charge you, or YouTube didn't double charge you, because on my end it did not double charge you. And also, I could not refund you for the whole amount even if I wanted to, because I have no option to do so. But I did check. Because last time you were here, you were very generous, and it essentially gave us two identical super chats, and it on my end it just received the one. So I don't know what's going on with that. And if you want the full refund, just contact Google and it will refund you, I guess. I appreciate it though. Okay, let's start the show with something that I should have done. Well, I did do it. I just didn't upload it. It's called Behind the Screens.
Sound production, take 2.
I did manage to go to work on Thursday, and I did manage to make the stinger. I just forgot to upload it to the website.
So it's just like, so now we have a stinger that's 3 weeks in the rears.
Essentially. All right. So
and sorry, James, just don't worry about it. We appreciate everyone in our audience, so we want to make sure that you're comfortable and everything. So
yeah. Just James, I sincerely don't want any monetary issue coming between this show and the audience. Like, every half a cent is most appreciated on my end, because it actually does go straight into production to the show.
Yep.
I have a day job, or my feelings has a day job. He's working his ass off more than me, that's for sure. But I don't live off YouTube, so everything that goes into YouTube, ad revenue, super chats, all of that, it goes straight into production for the show. Essentially paying for StreamYards, and then anything that is like graphical or sound or whatever I need to pay for stuff. It hasn't happened actually yet, but any further upgrades, once we get huge, like Asmongold huge, it will all go into improving the visuals, essentially, because otherwise it's just me.
I sincerely hope we never get Zach huge.
Well,
we'll
put that aside, because I'm not sure I want to either.
Yeah.
Whatever happens. The gods of YouTube will decide which cuisine reigns supreme. Anyway, all right, cool.
Iron Chef, get on it.
Welcome to Iron Chef. All right, cool. Behind the Screens is where we turn to me and get the lowdown on everything behind the scenes, production-wise, and oh my dear God, getting information that is essentially credible is absolutely fucking insane with this movie.
See, I tried to look some stuff up, and I found like 2 relevant pieces of information that were interesting, and that was it. And everything else was like conjecture or
yeah, I found one thing that has to do with actual movie making and nothing else. I had to scrounge for other stuff. Essentially, it's really about all around the movie rather than actually production
about the
stuff.
movie. Yeah.
So filming of the movie was mostly done in the University of Wisconsin-Madison, close to where Tom is. I think he's close to there.
That's part of the Big Ten, because that's the University of Wisconsin. That's the big state university there is Madison.
Okay. So okay, no problem. But the diving scenes were shot in California in a pool that is now defunct or ruined or dismantled or whatever. Which is not a big deal. They are tearing down the mall that is prominently featured in Back to the Future.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, which is a shame.
No, San Dimas. San Dimas was Bill and Ted. Never mind.
Never mind. despite the fact that Rodney Dangerfield and Sam Kinison were really good friends, and Rodney Dangerfield really pushed for Sam Kinison as a comedian, this was the one and only film that they were in together. Now, for the role of the mad history teacher, we'll call it that.
As Turkison, yeah, because they wanted Jim Carrey first, right?
Yes, they did. No, they did want Bob Saget first.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
But Alan Metter, the director, thought he was too nice. Even though everybody knew that Bob Saget, when he was a stand-up comic,
Comedian,
was filthy motherfucker, was really dirty.
And that was really
really
dirty. Is like in the early 2000s when he started doing stand-up again, because after Full House like fully wrapped for the first time, he just went off on his old like complete blue stuff.
Yeah.
Where people were just completely shocked, like that's not Danny.
Who is this guy? But then it was Jim Carrey, because Jim Carrey was one of Dangerfield's proteges.
Yep.
Along with Kinison and then many others. And yeah, the director thought he was just too young for the role.
Definitely.
And he wouldn't be believable as a guy who went through like Nam.
That actually went to Nam in the first place, because he had to be only in his, I would say,
early 20s.
Early
20s, yeah.
Because this is even before, you have to remember, this is way before even In Living Color, and even then he looks really young.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And during their scene together, so Kinison and Dangerfield, when Kinison was like ripping the chair off and screaming at his face, you can see Dangerfield laughing, as in bobbing his head. I went back and I saw that and was like, no way.
He's breaking.
He is trying not to laugh out loud. And Alan Metter had to use that take, because in the other takes that they did, he was actually laughing out loud, like with sound. So it just couldn't work. Now, the thing about Thornton Mellon is originally, and this was the only thing that I got from we'll call it a legit source. Thornton Mellon was supposed to be a poor guy. He was supposed to be a truck driver, which was cool because Dangerfield was a truck driver at some point in his career, which is, that's why it was so close to Dangerfield the man. We'll have a note on it in a bit. But it was changed when Harold Ramis said it couldn't work as a poor man going back to college. It's just not going to work. So they made him into this rich guy who just acts like money is no issue to him.
Which is so funny too, because we're going to talk about that during certain scenes. Harold Ramis, I know he did a lot of rewrites on this as well, but some of his advice is actually spot on, and it's still applicable today. Yep.
Essentially. The story mentions the Triple Lindy in Atlantic City, which is essentially based in reality.
Yeah.
But not exactly. So there is no such thing as a Triple
Lindy. No, but they did mention the Diving Horse, which was an act on the Atlantic City Boardwalk for many, many, many years.
And also, Dangerfield was a diver himself in his youth. Plus, he's a really good swimmer. Like, essentially, really, really good swimmer. Also, tracing back to his youth. Now, in the intro, when you see the sort of like, there's that prologue of the son and the father, and you have to go to school because a man is worth nothing without school. Essentially, it goes into this montage of like him growing up and showing us how he became this rich individual. And at the end, you see Thornton playing golf. Now, this was lifted off Caddyshack, straight up from Caddyshack, for a couple of reasons. A, Dangerfield was in Caddyshack. B, They made a deal with those producers to just lift that shot. And to top it all off, one of the executive producers who died during the filming of this movie was Dangerfield's agent, who got him the Caddyshack role.
Okay, that's nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
which was great. Now, in terms of the casting, essentially, Rodney Dangerfield has inadvertently was in a movie with lots and lots and lots of Oscar nominees. Sally Kellerman, Robert Downey Jr., Ned Beatty, all those people were essentially Oscar nominees. However,
just as an aside, I have to love the fact that his now current ex-wife is it's Adrienne Barbeau.
Yes,
that's so cool.
Yep. Yeah, I completely forgot about Adrienne Barbeau. And also,
and the villain from fucking Karate Kid. Let's go.
And also, Robert Picardo is the lover.
Yeah, Giorgio.
We'll put that aside. Yeah. Remember Robert Picardo.
Yeah.
Just a minute. So Sally Kellerman, she was already an Oscar nominee back then. RDJ was not. Didn't know who Rodney Dangerfield was at all, because she's not really into comedy. But then she met him on the set, and she knew him as the Miller Lite beer commercial guy.
Oh, that's right.
And she met him on the set, and she thought he was a great guy. He was a really great guy. James, hold that thought. And also, if you can tell, I couldn't, but I went back to watch it. Rodney Dangerfield, every time he's on screen and there's beer in a can involved,
it's all Miller.
Also Miller Lite, because Rodney had a contractual obligation to the Miller Lite or the Miller Brewing Company.
Miller Brewing Company, because it's either Miller Genuine Draft or it's Miller Lite. That's
exactly. So whenever it's in a can, so he grabs a beer from the fridge. That's one time, and then the cops.
Don't worry, I get my own. I get my own, and he actually has the logo facing directly at camera when it spikes him. He's eating his sandwich. It's like boom.
So when the cops bring the beer, it is also facing the camera.
Yeah, it's also Miller and Miller Genuine. Yeah, MGE now, and then Miller Lite. Yeah, yep.
Now, speaking of legality, this movie had a ton of legal issues. It was sued for plagiarism by a writing couple, which I couldn't get the name of, but a writing couple who claimed that they wrote essentially this story back in 1979, and they actually presented it to Orion. I don't know if they won or not, because the information is fucking scarce, and I'm sorry. The director sued for not getting paid at all. The casting director sued the producers for getting half a pay or not full pay, and Rodney Dangerfield countersued for no reason at all. Like a joke suit.
Well, because she's like, well, and you know what? I thought none of the directors gave me no respect.
Exactly. They gave him no respect at all. The original score was written by your very own Danny Elfman, who also wrote Beetlejuice and other things.
Who also is in the movie.
Who is also in the movie because he is the lead vocalist of Oingo Boingo, which is a band that I've only heard the name of, and I've probably heard a lot of songs, but I've never even heard this band existed.
Yeah, it's really really cool because Dead Man's Party playing at the frat party, the dorm party that he throws essentially. That I was like, wait, they got Oingo Boingo to play. This is weird. And why are they playing Dead Man's Party? Because that's not exactly what you would think of as a party song.
Yeah, and that is because Danny Elfman wrote the score for Back to School. So he
Yeah.
composed the score. The film was supposed to be out in Christmas 1985, but there was a lot of competition in Christmas 1985, and Orion was already on shaky ground, and they could not afford a flop. They just could not afford a flop, so they moved it to June of 1986. Do you know which movie came out the same week as Back to School?
I do
Also,
not, but it was probably
school-related movie. You want to take a guess? We covered the movie.
Revenge of the Nerds?
No, it is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Revenge of the Nerds came out in 84. So not only did it came out the same week as Ferris Bueller's Day Off, it also beat it in the box office. It was the more successful movie. By the way, by far the most successful movie. And the weird part is both movies used Twist and Shout in a scene where they sing Twist and Shout.
Yeah.
I
still prefer the one in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
So Back to School beat it in the box office, and it was the number 6 grossing, like best grossing film domestically of that year. And till this day, it is the most successful grossing film of all time that was never released in the UK theaters.
Really?
Yep. It grossed like $91 million on a $12 million budget, something like that. Something insane. Now, you mentioned William Zabka, the kid from Karate Kid. Like, he's Johnny from Karate Kid.
He's Johnny.
This was the
third in this one, but
yeah. This was the third movie, including another movie from 1985, where he essentially plays the villain, shithead, bully.
Which is what I find funny about this one, because he is like the most inoffensive bully.
Now, if you manage to catch this at the start of the movie, he's more of an obnoxious, kind of a more bully, and closer to the end, he's more like I'm Chaz, kind of a bully.
Yeah,
right?
where he seems like he's unfortunately probably kind of a dick, but not so offensively like in your face about it. Like if we go back to Revenge of the Nerds, like they were stone cold antagonists. They were after them. He's just more like, I just don't like you as a person, dude.
Yeah. So at the start, he was more of a bully, and at the later tail end, he's sort of a harmless bully or like an obnoxious guy.
Yeah, if anything, he gets knocked out. Kinda. Yeah.
And that was actually that was half and half, because Zabka was like trying to pull away when he realized, oh shit, I'm stuck again in the same role. And there was one take where Alan Matter said, cut, and explicitly told him, look, can you just be more like the Karate Kid guy?
Oh man! So like I'm getting pigeonholed. So all right.
Yeah, that was the moment Zabka realized he was typecast.
Yep,
he fucked up. But to be honest, RDJ and Zabka were really good buddies. They had a great time, and in the downtimes, they had jam sessions while RDJ was playing the keyboard and Zabka was playing the guitar. So they had a great time. Probably snorted a.
That's what I'm saying. Unfortunately, cocaine. Probably for RDJ, a little too much fun time, because
a lot of fun time.
Well, we still have to talk about Less Than Zero at some point in time, because that movie's fantastic. But
and one last thing that kind of has to do with this movie, but not really. Sort of like it's sort of the legacy of the pool scene at the very end. Sum 41 parodied the pool scene in their famous song, which plays in my mind ever since I've heard this little piece of information. I'm in too deep. Now, I heard that piece of information. I was like, I don't remember that. And then I put on the song and like, I definitely remember that.
Going under. Yeah.
Exactly. No, I remembered the song. The song is not a problem. I remember the song. I didn't remember the music video. The music video.
Oh, yeah.
I completely forgot it was that. So yeah, it was very 2004
some
or whatever it was.
And also Newfound Glory. They love their 80s films. So there was one of them, I think it's Newfound Glory, had a direct reference to Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh, okay.
And also the band, oddly enough, there's another punk pop band at the time called Phoenix TX.
Never heard of them.
Song about how they're in love with Phoebe Cates from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah. Maybe not Phoebe Cates herself. Maybe the lower section. Yeah. All right, cool. That is basically it. Oh, you didn't hear that, right?
Nope. The roar. Did it get you?
The roar at the start.
See at the bottom there, but
yeah.
So what I found really interesting, just off rip, is obviously gotta love that it's the older brother from the Wonder Years as a little baby Thornton. I was like, oh, that's cool, and it's also something that's really reminiscent of a lot of people did this in the 40s, and especially like beforehand, if you had a German last name in the earlier portion of the 20th century and Irish names as well, is they changed their names or for professional reasons, because he's Maloney, then he becomes Mellon.
Yeah. It's, to be fair, it kind of happened over here because once there was a state, a lot of the people from Europe came in when it was legitimate, and they went down the boats, went to because there was no airport, so everything was in the boats. They went into the essentially the Interior Ministry office, where you get like your ID card and your ID number, and they were all about, oh, this is the Jewish Hebrew land, so you need a Hebrew name. So Franz was changed to something else, and like if you got a weird Skalinsky, you're like, okay, this is not Skalinsky, this is Solomon. Now you're Solomon. There's no Skalinsky here.
Well, it was more of just the fact, especially during the time, because there were strict restrictions on Irish immigration, kind of laxed, but German immigration was still really, really, really overtuned when it came to the late 19th, early 20th century in America. Yeah, if you look at American history, like, land of the free, home of the brave, if you're the right people.
Well, essentially everybody was new in the country once back in the day. So the older generation was like, you're whatever. So
got it.
The Germans got it, the Irish got it, the Italians got it, the blacks got it. Everybody got it. Everybody. Now you're the new guy. You're gonna get put down. Why? Because
unless you were like English Protestants, you were a-okay. You're fine.
All right.
Whitest of white bread. You're okay. And Paul, thank you for that. No, it was the Fountains of Wayne. That's what it was.
Okay.
And a direct reference with Stacy's mom actually getting out of the pool. It was a cut to an homage to Fast Times.
I probably have heard the song. I just don't know the band name.
It's one of those mid 2000s earworms that had they were pop punk bands that had one big hit and then went away, like the Verve Pipe, with the Freshmen, and so many other ones. God, I think what was 1984.
It's immaterial.
Anyway, moving on.
Immaterial. It's all good. I know exactly what you mean. It's immaterial. All right, cool. Before we head to the first game, I want to touch upon one thing, because it kind of starts with that infomercial thing, with kind of introducing
I love
Fat and tall.
just the big jokes too, because with the males is there Hindenburg, and with ladies like the muumuus and caftans.
Yes.
Then he says we also have stuff set in A-frame size. Where I'm like, damn, that's mean.
That's really mean.
And then he also says so like, if you want to look skinny, you hang out with fat people. And I'm like,
I want to get to that sentence. That is ripped straight out of his own comedy routine.
Yeah.
From way back in the day, when he was on the Jackie Gleason show, 1960s.
That's crazy.
That is insane. And yeah, he brought it back. You know who's responsible for that? Harold Ramis. Because Harold Ramis is the master. All right, cool. Let's play our first game. All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What?
She's still preoccupied with 1985. Yeah, it was okay. Yeah. Paul's got my back on these songs. He's like, I got a reference. Paul's got it.
All right, Paul, and we'll say hello to Becky too, and all the lurkers out there. I know you're there. Stay a while and listen. All right. It is time for Missing Marquee. Missing Marquee is where we take 10 posters of movies, have their text written off, we display them, and you guys out there will have to guess which movie this is. You didn't see the title.
I think the 3 bullets kind of gives it away.
This one is a tricky one.
Because the title is dumb as shit, like the movie.
Yeah. It is The Naked Gun. But which Naked Gun?
And which sequel?
Which Naked Gun? Essentially, it's not the first one, okay? It is not 33 and a third. You know why? Because there's 3 bullets in it. It is 22 and a half.
F.
Yeah.
They don't know fractions. We'll put it that way.
The third one has a different poster.
Yeah.
We'll say that. It will come up soon, actually. I think. Come on.
Talk about one of the most disappointing bits of a trilogy.
One day we will cover everything that has to do with this movie because there were so many story choices that were at play that were not done.
Well,
but whoever decided Bane doesn't wear the Bane the regular comic book accurate Bane costume. Essentially made a horrible mistake.
Yeah. Even though I thought Tom Hardy did well in that role.
He could have done the same role with a different mask and you would have a different reaction to this.
Yeah.
This is a new movie. Essentially, I think from everybody here, I think I'm the only one who have seen it.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen this one.
It's a half U.S., half Israeli co-production.
Because I could see
the director is an Israeli
on the map.
It's a historical figure from 1973, essentially. Nobody actually knows, right? This is Paul knows it. Golda. It is Golda Meir's essentially biography.
Okay.
It is not her biography. It's sort of like it is straight up just the Yom Kippur War and the fallout from that.
I'll have to watch that.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. It's I don't want to say half accurate, but it's accurate about things that you wouldn't know it was accurate about. Let's just say that. And hello, Griffin. Welcome. Yes, no one knows. The Falcon and the Soldier, no. It is North and South, correct.
Yep.
I saw the poster and I was immediately, this is Gettysburg. It is.
No, it is not.
No, it is not.
It is not.
That one is with Ferris Bueller.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know people don't like this movie.
I just don't like Wes Anderson. Full stop.
I don't know. I don't know what to think about Wes. Have you seen his latest one? Is the Comet one? I just couldn't get into it.
Well, no, his actually most recent one that just came out. Yeah, I have.
Oh no, the one with Sweeney and Ana de Armas. I haven't seen
it's all right.
To be honest, by the way, I have not seen many movies that came out in 2025 to my own detriment. The only one I remember seeing that came out in 2025 was the Electric Park thingy with Chris Pratt and
the Netflix movie. Yeah.
Terrible. Yeah. Yes, it is the Truman Show. It is the Truman Show.
I would
say we had a different poster a few weeks back.
Yeah. I said my second or third favorite depiction of Capone.
It is The Untouchables, correct.
Aha! I think I remember it this time.
Third time it came around in 4 years. Essentially, I need to rewatch this movie.
Yeah, but James got it.
Yep, it is. It is The War of the Roses.
I actually remembered it this time, man. I still haven't seen it yet.
You haven't?
Nope.
Wouldn't it be weird if we find a month to cover it, like a Kathleen Turner month, and that would be your first time watching the movie?
And actually, you know what? I already know what to call it too. It's a reference to High Fidelity, Kathleen Turner Overdrive.
Oh, nice.
Yep. See, no.
U.S. Marshals is correct.
Yep.
We've got an RDJ filled.
I would actually really, really like to cover this at some point in time. Do like a Mindhunter-esque kind of month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this was actually, I really actually enjoyed this movie a lot.
I enjoyed this movie too. It is very slow. It is super slow.
Mm-hmm.
It is Zodiac. Becky's got it too.
That, or we could do a Jake Gyllenhaal month, because we could do Nightcrawler right after that, because Nightcrawler's really good too.
Maybe.
Then the only other one I can think of that would be good that I would actually want to watch would be, well, no, I get two. Jarhead would be fine. And
I mean, Jarhead, Zodiac, Donnie Darko, and Nightcrawler would be nice. I know people don't particularly like Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't know why.
He's fine.
I don't think he's being typecast, but we'll see. Anyway, moving on with the show. That was great. Awesome, guys. It's pretty fast too. I want to move a little bit forward. So
I would just wanted to cover over just the conference room scene, just because of how relevant the Cabbage Patch Kids were at that time and how they did.
Exactly. I want to get there. I got it. So essentially, it's not just fat and tall. You can get why he's so rich, because it's not just fat and tall. It's accessories, toys, he is into almost anything and everything. And that's what makes Thornton Mellon so rich. Right? So he's not just a clothing store guy. It's not like in Back to School where Beanie is essentially a Radio Shack franchisee kind of guy, and he's got like 7 different locations. Thornton Mellon's got, first of all, tons of locations.
Wait, you mean Old School?
What did I say?
You said Back to School.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Old School.
Yeah, where
Vince Vaughn's character
basically
Beanie.
Like, he owns a whole bunch of circuit cities essentially, but they're owned by him. Like he's the owner proprietor of all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, but in this movie, Thornton Mellon is not only doing clothing, he's got toys, he's got all different kinds, and they don't touch upon everything, but you get the message that he's not a millionaire. He's a multi-millionaire.
Multi-millionaire.
Yeah. One that can just do this, and he can essentially make 3 rooms into one gigantic studio room with a hot tub and a massage parlor.
It's like, huh.
Yeah.
That's, well, Becky, you'd have a good point there. Prisoners, that would be one we could put on that list. But so we have the conversation again where he's the college kid that's going out there, but he's embarrassed. Because he did not turn out to what his father was really expecting him to be, and I love immediately when they have the confrontation between them. They're like, "Well, yeah, I lied."
Yeah, and you know what? You can tell that Thornton and his son are on good terms, regardless of the fact that like his son doesn't really want him there at first.
Jason, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Once they're there, and it's like, I don't care if you lied, I don't care if you did the bad thing, I will forgive you because I love you. I just want you to finish school. That's all I want. I want you to be happy because I didn't finish school.
He also reiterated what his father told him: without education, a man's nothing. And after that, he said, like, you can do anything. You're a melon instead of Maloney.
But in that conversation, we kind of realized, okay, the original mother is dead. He remarried, and his current wife is a bitch.
Because what does he tell Lou? It's okay. She gives great headache.
Yeah, she gives great headache. And the one thing I loved about this, he's in the place before everybody comes in, right? Before the party. It's like, they have this conversation of, you need to be prim and proper because our friends are coming over for this party. And he's like, these are your friends.
As long as there's
mine.
Free food and free booze, they aren't going to care.
Exactly. And the moment he has that sort of a break where he asks this bartender guy, it's like, give me a beer. It's like, Miss whatever said no beer.
No cerveza. No cerveza.
Yeah, no cerveza. And he's like, fuck this place. He goes out, he makes himself a fucking sandwich.
Because everyone's laughing because it's like, how uncouth, but also it's just like kind of a really baller move.
Yeah. And then he goes out, he gets his Miller Lite or whatever. He gets his Miller beer, and he just sits there in front of the pool and eats, and only stops because his wife is trying to introduce him to her friends. And he's like, I don't give a fuck anymore.
And have to love that too, when because this is after he catches his wife cheating on him with Giorgio.
Yes. Yeah.
And the whole bit was like, oh god, I love him. It's like, look, it's like, oh no, this is my wife. This is his wife's Clint. It's like, I love your wife's Clint. Oh, she showed it to you too. Yeah. I was like, that's a good line.
The eyes
like,
on
hey, put some pockets in there. Be like a pool table.
Exactly.
You should come to my tours, tall and fat. No offense.
Essentially, the dude gets it, so the husband actually gets it. Like, it's just the wife who's indignant about
mortified,
this uncouth individual. And that kind of tells you the entire story. And it's like, oh, you've embarrassed me, I want a divorce. And he's like, I'm already prepared, motherfucker.
It's like, well, so what? Also, caught you cheating on him off rip. And it's obviously not the first time. Like, what do you think? Like, oh, you're gonna pay for this? He was like,
no, I don't think so.
No.
And to be honest, the entire sort of divorce angle kind of gets wiped away, because as soon as he leaves for college, there's no, essentially, he doesn't really mention the ex-wife. He doesn't mention the divorce. He doesn't mention the fact that he's gonna pay her like alimony for whatever. She is essentially being written off after this point, which I I remembered something else. You know, when you remember something, it's stuck in your mind. I remember this part, and I remember it comes around at the very end, but it really
doesn't.
No. It really doesn't. Once Adrienne Barbeau is out of the picture, she is essentially out of the picture.
Which I think is great because there's a good setup and payoff there where he actually wants to reconnect with his son, and apparently how Vanessa had kind of broken that relationship a little bit because Jason didn't feel comfortable being around Vanessa. So that's why I also went multiple states away to go to college and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So he's like, you know what? I'm going to go see my boy. Come on, Lou.
Yeah, Lou. Also, Uncle Paulie. Because he's essentially Uncle Paulie, Lou, whatever.
Yeah, he is. He is.
I mean, Burt Young is nice, but he essentially played the same role again. So the thing is,
he just sees Greek letters and they're like, well, that must be it.
Yeah. No, it's because essentially Jason told him, I'm in this house. So he goes into that house. Although a fraternity and a sorority are two different distinctly houses, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, well, it also would have been. Well, they always just have the three Greek letters, or well, it depends on which.
Yeah, but because Thornton is, because Thornton didn't go to school, he doesn't really know.
He doesn't know. He just sees the first house with Greek letters on it. He's like, that must be it. And also, his first sign would have been like walking into a frat house, even in the 80s, and be like, this place is clean. I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah, and to be honest, there were no girls around, and he goes into the shower to talk to a dude. That whole situation.
I didn't see nothing. People like, yeah, perfect.
yeah, perfect. And essentially, it's the same scene from Revenge of the Nerds, right?
A little bit.
He opens it up, she screams, he closes it, and then he opens to tell her she looks great. Which, it looks good. Let's just call it what it is. And the rent-a-cop for the college is like, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Thornton. It's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Here's $100. Yeah,
here's $100.
He's like, you know what the best part about kids is? Making them.
Yeah. And to be honest, as soon as he reaches the college, the stand-up version of Rodney Dangerfield is in full effect.
Oh, yeah.
From that moment on until the very end of the movie, he is stand-up comedy Rodney Dangerfield. I don't care what his name is in the movie. That is him. He's got the one-liners. He's got the comebacks. He's got everything to do with being this, a guy with an ex-wife, and he gets no respect. At all. Right? It's essentially his character throughout this movie. Now he goes to his son, and they have that conversation, and he introduces him to Derek.
RDJ's character.
Derek Lutz.
And also, look how precious little baby RDJ is.
Yeah. And I don't think that's his natural hair color. I love that comment.
I think you have issues with your parents.
Yeah. No, this is where I laughed out loud hysterically, because whatever Derek Lutz is, back then he was sort of like the odd man out. Today, in some colleges,
he would be the
majority of the suit and body is Derek Lutz. It is insane. So, Columbia University. Insane.
A quick aside.
Yeah.
Just like most of the comedies in the 1980s and even into the early 90s, very, very early, this, of course, had its own theme song.
Yes.
Which we did get to hear just on the ride. And, of course, it is awful.
Kind of.
It's bad.
Guess.
It's not as bad as Revenge of the Nerds, but it's pretty bad.
I mean, who's Johnny? She said was kind of catchy, but
Johnny had because Johnny was written by an actual musician that had multiple hits.
I know. So Thornton comes in and he's like, he talks to Jason. Jason tells him, "Look, I lied," and he's like, "Look, it's really important for me for you to stay in school. What do I have to do? You know what? I will." You're kind of Jason. You said so. So Jason kind of flips it on him. It's like, a man needs a college education, right? But you're not college educated. So Thornton's solution to this is, I'm going to enroll and keep you here because I'm going to school with you.
Let's go.
Which is, kind of a great premise for a comedy, because you're putting a fish out of water, kind of a guy who has already spent this life, and now he's going back in time without actually going back in time because he's around young people. But he goes to the dean, and the dean is like, we can't enroll you. You're too. He doesn't say you're not learned. He's like, you're too old to be in the school.
You're 34 years older than our most recent incoming freshmen. So yeah, but also the fact that it's played for laughs for someone like me who loves the old actual original Rat Pack. He's like Dean Martin. And it actually gets Thornton to laugh multiple times, like Dean Martin.
Exactly. And it's sort of like Thornton is the only dude there who
gets the joke.
Gets the joke. And I was like, oh, it's Dean Martin. I know because I know. But so essentially he's like, you know what? I'm going to donate a whole bunch of money to this school in order for me to be enrolled.
It basically just built the new school of business.
Going to build.
Yes.
It's sort of like, I pledge this money instead of actually paying the money. But he's a benefactor. He needs to be respected. And from there on end, almost up to the end, Dean Martin is essentially brown nosing at all times, groveling and giving Thornton whatever he wants.
Yeah, because the board of trustees are going, listen, man, just go ahead and do whatever the hell he wants. He may give us another fucking building. Let it go
essentially. And the only guy to stand in the middle of it is the antagonist for this movie, which is I love this guy, and I remember him doing.
He's a fantastic actor. Yeah,
I know he's done a lot of movies. This is his second movie, on the docket. He was mostly a theater actor. Let's just face it, a lot of British actors who are actually good that made it into the film, the U.S. film industry, were had a good long run as a theater actor.
Mostly a lot of very classic Shakespearean stuff. Like Patrick Stewart was, God, he was Richard IV in how many productions?
Yeah. So I remember this guy doing Sherlock Holmes. I was incorrect. Partly. He did Sherlock Holmes on stage.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but yeah, I love this actor. And you know what's crazy? I went into his bio, the filmography. He did a lot of TV, essentially a lot of comedies. He was in Frasier and Third Rock from the Sun, and a lot of those sitcoms. And he always had this bit part of essentially this guy from Back to School. And when he died really recently, 2023. And he was living in Arlington, Virginia, out of all places.
That's just
really, that's really interesting. Because he was a British guy.
Yeah.
So, let's see. I worked in accounting and finance. A little detail they don't mention: when Thornton Mellon pledges to build a new school of business, he has to give 10% down. Win-win for the university. Yeah, he's in.
Yeah.
I do work at a university, and I know how they get donors, and I know how they fuck them over. Not really fuck them over, but essentially, when a donor comes into a university, at least here, whatever they pledge the amount to, 30% goes to the university and goes into their budget, not to the thing they pledged to. So if they want to build a building and put their name on it, and it cost $100 million, $30 million go to the university's bank account, not to that building. That is crazy.
I think that's really contingent on the university, whether it's a state university, like for the United States anyway, or a private university as well.
It is.
So yeah, it's so like case in point, the university that I got my bachelor's and my MBA from, IU, Kelly School of Business, was founded and paid for by the guy who actually founded Steak and Shake, of all things.
I mean, to be honest, if you went to the school and then you got out and you became an actual successful business guy, and you've achieved everything you wanted to achieve, okay, you became like essentially not a multimillionaire but a millionaire, okay, and you're like, what is my legacy? So what is left for me to accomplish? Okay, I can buy more companies, I can do more things, but if I just want a lasting legacy of I've went to this business school and then I succeeded in business, I can give back and have my name plastered all over whatever.
That's also why, just as an aside, again, IU, Indiana University, that's why Mark Cuban donates so much money, because he graduated from there. He got his MBA from IU. So yeah,
I'm not really surprised. I'm not really surprised. What I am surprised is that they cast Terry Farrell, the very tall lady. She's not just,
I know, it's
regular tall.
The two of them, the entire time I was laughing hysterically. Do you know why?
Because he went up to her to kiss her.
No, because Jason right there in most looks like Sam Little Bitch Spilari from Basketball.
He does.
Am I wrong, or he looks like that dude?
He does. He actually does. But look, they don't really have to be the same height, but he's comically short and she is comically tall. Like Terry Farrell is a tall lady. She was a model essentially. And I'm taller than her, and it wouldn't look weird if we're standing side by side.
Yeah.
He is
he's a very short
level shot.
Yeah, he is what they would call a short king.
Yeah, he's a short king, and it really doesn't look good.
Well, because we've met in you're 2 or 3 inches shorter than me?
I think so. What the fuck just happened?
There you go.
Oh, I know. Okay. I don't know what the hell happened. Anyway, I blame it on the weatherman. Like I said, it doesn't really fit. And you know what's crazy? William Zabka, if you look at them side by side, Terry Farrell is taller than him.
Yeah.
So that's what I said. She is really tall, and it really doesn't fit, right? Maybe not. He's literally standing on heels. She is taller than him.
I can see walking around on his tippy toes during shooting.
By the way, she's taller than RDJ too.
Oh yeah.
I'm not joking.
Well, RDJ is notably a very short,
very short individual. So, hold on. My daughter is off.
Did you come in and say, like, wake me up at 11 a.m. tomorrow, Dad?
No, actually, she goes away for. She was supposed to be away for it's not really a summer camp, but it is summer camp.
Okay.
So she was supposed to not be here for the week, come home for Friday, Saturday, and then leave again for another week. But because of the
world going to shit,
the ongoing shit-a-mabob, they kind of canceled the first week, but they extended the next. Too much information for this podcast.
No, I got you.
Essentially,
we'll talk about it afterward.
Yeah, essentially, she is leaving, so she just came in to say good night and wake me up tomorrow morning before you leave. Yes, we have no qualms of kissing people in this house. We are a family. I love my children. I just don't love my children.
James,
like
you should meet him in person. He's a little offensive about it sometimes.
I am. I do love my kids. Just a regular love them. Not insane. People are crazy today. Anyway, back to school. I love the fact that he is trying to be in the spirit of school. So he buys himself some stuff, then he buys everybody else, and then he's like, oh, choose one of these cards. And notably, the MasterCard is prominently not only taken by this girl, but also prominently displayed out of all the cards that have nothing to do with actual companies, just the MasterCard one. I was like, I know who financed this movie. I know who gave money for this movie. Yeah. This movie is bought and paid for.
I wouldn't say that I did love that nice touch because that is such a college kid thing to do. Well, I'm like, I'm going to skip and save on I'm going to buy some used books, man.
Yeah.
I could save like $40, $50. I can go to the bar to that later.
And it's essentially once Thornton enrolls and get all the pageantries out.
Thornton has, again, his entire crew, this entire menagerie of people that work for him that he knows. The great thing about him, too, is he's never too big for his britches. He knows every single person that knows him, that works for him by name and knows something about their family. Because the guy that, like, here's some money, like throw a party for the crew and everything.
Yeah, and also for your wife and your children, blah, 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 blah. It's like, it kind of reminds me of someone else, but I'll refrain from saying the name because everybody loves or hates the guy.
Yeah.
But he's a very prominent businessman.
Divisive individual.
With ginger hair-ish. Talking about divisive, this one is sort of like, to me, this was the meeting of academy and real life.
That, or I would say, like, again, academics versus street smarts.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not only street smarts, he also has a lot of experience. Because like I mentioned it before, and this is where it comes to fruition. This is sort of like the payoff to the setup in the office with all the people. Essentially, Thornton knows what goes into actually making a business. And the entire point of the class is constructing a business from the ground up. And the sort of like the book version of it compared to the actual version of it, which essentially, if you live in certain areas, you have to grease the wheels and pay off some people because you want everything to go smoothly.
If you wanted to start a business too, like practically for construction purposes, you would never want to build. And this is categorically true because Griffin could definitely agree with me on this one. It is far cheaper to always lease than ever build because there is no way you'll ever get any kind of recompense if anything goes wrong. Because, oh boy, things can go really wrong when you try to do any kind of construction. So,
and that point of reference is that stuff that really rubs the professor the wrong way. It's not just Thornton's personality. It's not the fact that he's moving in on his girl. It's the fact that he undermines his teachings, essentially.
Yes.
Which, because and this is the point of contention here, because the professor and the girl, the girl professor, I don't know the names.
That's
Fuck the
Diane.
names.
Just Diane.
Diane. So the professor and Diane are dating, but it seems like Diane is not really committed to the guy because he does not show enough affection in the way that she expects him to show affection. This is why undermining his teachings is really rubbing him the wrong way.
Well, and also, as you mentioned before, like his is more theoretical versus Thornton's practical application of the actual business models. And that's why it's so funny when people are turning around, the kids are turning around and taking notes from Thornton instead.
Yeah, and it's
and even how
that point.
The last bit, we're like, where are you going to build this? Dream World?
Yeah. Dream World. And this is why that is also a setup to the entire academic probation kind of a prove it moment at the very end of the movie, where he is the one that is the catalyst to this audit, essentially, because he's the one that failed him because he didn't write this paper. I don't believe you because this is too academic, rather than I would expect you to write whatever nonsense you pulled in my class rather than write to my own sensibilities.
Which is so odd too, because Diane already failed him.
Exactly. She failed him for the same exact reason. She knows him. She knows how he acts. So she expects she expects the Thornton she knows rather than the academic Thornton. One injection, the professor of knowledge is actually useful. However, is more of an international.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Depending on the city block and per square footage for construction versus actual leasing, especially in highly populated areas, it actually is a lot cheaper to lease than build, obviously, but in less densely populated areas, actually cheaper to build than lease. That's why a lot of people are like, "Oh, we're building server farms in the middle of bumfuck nowhere." Why? Because it doesn't cost a dime to buy the land because nobody wants it.
Now, the Sam Kinison scene is fucking hilarious in so many ways.
It's him doing his shtick, just like Dangerfield. Yeah,
exactly. First of all, he's doing his shtick. Second of all, his opinions as the Professor Turgson is almost the exact opposite of what you get from a American history class today.
Yes.
Today. It just goes to show you sort of like the yin yang sort of swing in politics in academia throughout the years. It's gonna go back, I promise you. I think I've said it a long time ago on a conversation between us where if it goes all the way to the one side, you betcha it's gonna go all the way to the other side.
The thing is, it's, as we mentioned too, it's not gonna go easily into that good night either. It's gonna swing, and it's gonna swing hard.
Yeah. So let's just say in 20 years, we expect to see this Turgson again in real academia somewhere, complaining about whatever January 6th or whatever.
But have to love the dichotomy there of the student basically being a retrospect of the current model, and then Turgson being, the actual Vietnam vet, and then the coverage because Truman didn't have the balls about the Korean War. I'm like, okay. That's good.
Let's just say I've heard those talking points before. I wonder where it was. Exactly. The thing about this is Rodney is actually matching Kinison's intensity at the very end, at this point right here. And the fact that he stood up to him kind of made Turkson, the professor,
He's like, I like you.
respect him.
I like you. All right.
He gives respect to Rodney. But
because even during the exam, he goes, "Hey, hold off. He's had a stressful day."
Yeah. Exactly. Now, this is the last one where after this, I'm going to jump forward. This is Thornton's sort of infatuation with Diane, because I don't think he has a hang up about her because of her looks. I think he has a hang up about her because of her free spirit. He immediately is drawn to her free spirit because she is so different from the current wife or the ex-wife, essentially.
Well, and
right?
he also made a joke, which is obviously it's a Dangerfield joke. I was really into teachers. I did an English once. I sent her a love letter. She sent me back notes.
Yeah. Essentially, it's a lot of it's a lot of Dangerfield jokes, and the writers who wrote the script know Dangerfield and respect him, and like Harold Ramis, they know his act.
Yeah.
Because they're essentially a comedian themselves, so it comes off as, okay, we know where his strengths are, we know where his weaknesses are as a quote unquote actor. We'll play to those strengths because it will work as the character of Thornton Mellon. And that's what why you feel like, well, if you know his type of comedy or his act, you kind of see where they were going for. But if you don't know Rodney Dangerfield at all, you're exposed to him as this guy because he is the no respect at all guy. Okay. So this is where he goes from class to class to class to class, and then he goes to the diving situation because, we could, from the get-go, I think it was after the party went away, before he had the conversation with his ex-wife, giving her the divorce papers, he jumped into the pool while Lou was like lounging there. Right?
No, it was after they go like, "I'm free, Lou. I'm free."
Oh, okay. It's after. Right. It's after.
See my boy. Yeah.
It's after. So you can see him diving. So that was the setup, and this is where it pays off because we realize we don't actually know. We know that the son is there for the diving thing, but he's not really in. But in this conversation, we kind of realized, he was good. But
I was gonna say there was one thing too before. One thing we glossed over at the very beginning. The black and white photos with Rodney Dangerfield heads superimposed on different. There was actually one of him diving.
Yes.
In the black and white photo, so it's like, okay, there was a setup there for it.
Yeah, but it's not really emphasized. It's really like one picture and then they move on.
Like this is the real big setup for it. Yeah. And then we have the conversation about Atlantic City and everything. And like, well, give the kid a chance. And then Jason does an actual decent dive. Like, hey, give the kid a try.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, later on, it comes up as, oh, my father bought my way into the team. And that was the point of contention between the two, even though we could see that he's really good on his own merit.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like no one was giving him a shot, though.
No one was giving him a shot. Yeah. And he just, essentially, his dad didn't really buy his way into the team, but he did put in a good word in terms of just look at him.
Also gave him advice because the diving coach wasn't giving any advice. He goes, oh, by the way, tuck in a little bit more as you do that.
Yeah.
And he did. And it was like, oh, wow, that was like a 9 out of 9.
Yeah. And this is, again, they have a pretty good relationship. So Jason and Thorne do have a pretty good relationship. Now, it does falter when it comes to studying because when they did, meet up to study, Jason's at
the library and Valerie walks up to him like, well, so do you guys spend all your time? I'm like, well, I was supposed to be with my dad here, but he must be studying somewhere else. And he's at the bar.
He's in the bar, yelling, screaming, drinking.
He's like, Girls, Lou, girls.
Yeah. And Lou doesn't seem to be interested in girls at all.
Well,
but
it
he's
sounds
more.
like he had multiple kids, so he's probably still married. So maybe like Lou is just a decent dude. Just like, I'm just watching out for my boss.
Exactly.
You know, you
I
got
mean,
to.
Lou is sort of like your chauffeur, your bodyguard, and also your close-knit friend.
Yeah,
I guess. All wrapped up into one. He's Thornton's best friend because they were together so and so years.
Yeah, for so many years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have them doing that, and then we have Derek in the anti-pep rally that kind of gives this whole bit.
Yeah,
You know,
I kind of glossed over that.
See what happens. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I get upset. When I get upset, I go to Lou.
Exactly. And Lou is like,
crushes that napkin container. Like, do we got a problem here? No, we got a problem. No, we got a problem here.
Yeah. Essentially, it's the entire football team, and Lou wipes the floor with the quarterback, and they can't do it to him. It causes a big brawl where Thornton is just laid back drinking beer and doesn't give a fuck.
Like Jason's under the table. He's taking some a beer, gives another girl some a beer, and like Derek's getting thrown. Like, Lou, I'm getting my ass kicked over here. Help me out.
Yeah. And then, of course, we jump forward to essentially.
This is the weirdest thing is, why did they have the dogs fucking on the lawn bit?
I don't know.
I don't know what that was.
Like I said, anything I don't understand about what they were going for in the movie, I think it's a line in Rodney's act that they wanted to put in there.
It had to have been an allusion to it. Yeah,
it had to be, because it's been almost 40 years since this movie came out. Almost. Next year is essentially 40 years. A lot of the meaning got lost in the shuffle of what was going on.
Yeah.
And essentially, some of the jokes in there are jokes that maybe just the people who watched it at the time and actually do know Rodney would pick up.
Are you saying it's acceptable in the 80s? It was acceptable
no.
No, it's a joke song that would never mind.
It's not the point of being acceptable. It's the point of it worked at the time. If
it was culturally relevant. Yeah, I know. I was trying to make a joke, but it didn't land.
Yeah, it's fine. This film is already older than I am. It's not older than me.
Not older than me either. We got babies in the chat.
It's all good. It will always be like that. Well, not always.
But there was one bit again with the massage bit, which had one of the most interesting lines that I found absolutely hilarious, because it's a line that I had said out loud when I was in college in my college days. These classes are really inconvenient.
Yes. Yeah. So the point I'm going to make is he's sitting there reading with Diane a book by
Kurt Vonnegut, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Kurt Vonnegut." Kurt Vonnegut writes his paper. He's like, "Whoever wrote that has no idea about Vonnegut." It's like,
the fact of the matter is, this is Kurt Vonnegut.
I know it is. Yeah,
the man himself with a cameo.
This is like, "Hi, I'm Kurt Vonnegut."
Yeah. Because he wants to hear the meaning of what is going on in the book from the man who wrote the book. And essentially later on, it comes off as somebody needs to tell Kurt Vonnegut
whoever
writing
wrote
about.
For you has no idea about Vonnegut. That's great.
That is the type of joke, like circular joke, that I absolutely love, because it's not a setup and a payoff. It's a setup and a setup and a setup, and then it goes all the way back around.
And then,
oh my god, it was
when
so
he calls
fucking good.
Later, it's like, "You relive? Well, fuck you."
Fuck you. It's just a nice little circular way of ending up a really long setup and payoff joke.
And you know what's really great too is
great.
It's so funny because the literal meaning or interpretation of an author's works can be interpreted as the false idealized version of it to whoever it is. Like it's like, again, it's all subjective. It's all up to your own personal interpretations, and that wasn't Diane's, even though like the author was like, no, that's exactly what I meant word for word.
Yeah,
you're wrong.
and that's the whole point about art is, and even going back to the start of the movie, there's in the party there was the guy, I don't know his name, and he's been in many movies and TV shows. He is Parker Lewis's dad. That's where I know him from.
Yes, yeah.
And he points to the painting and he's talking about
the Clint, yeah,
the thing, and Thornton is like, it's just a painting, and that is art. Sometimes a painting is just a painting, but also you can infer to it whatever you like because it's art, and you can find hidden meaning and like the best example I've got for people is like gay coding. You know what gay coding is?
Yeah.
Gay coding, if you don't know what it is, it's movies that have been made by people who were in the closet back in the day, or even like even in the 80s. And there are stuff that are put in there to signal to other gay people, oh, this was done by a gay person. Now, as a lot of those things who are quote unquote gay coded, not really gay coded. Even though the person who made the piece of art or the film or whatever it was
claims they were, yeah,
they were gay, but they did not mean it to be gay. When I heard that, I heard that from let's just say a good friend of my mother, who is very, very gay.
Okay.
He told me about gay coding, and he said, well, essentially, sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not.
No.
And if you're gay, it's always gay coding. Like you can find gay coding in movies that are not made by gays, for gays, whatever. And you can find gay coding everywhere if you're really looking for it.
If you look for it. That's, I've told you about my uncles before. My uncle
I
Wally,
know. I remember.
Like, everything is gay.
Yeah. So essentially, what I'm trying to say is when you look at a piece of art, when you look at this, right, you can like infer Back to the Future, but you can also infer a lot of stuff that is like philosophical about time traveling or blah 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 whatever.
Well,
and also
maybe
there's
it's about a relationship of an older man grooming a younger man,
and he is standing behind him. See, so you can take everything everywhere you want to, depending on your specific subjective idea of it.
Interpretation.
Now, please. What is the subjective art form with the chimpanzees?
I love this so much. Well, one of the reasons I like one note that I know that I do have in here is that Rodney Dangerfield apparently fucking loves any kind of chimpanzees.
I know, right?
He loves working with them, thought they were hilarious. He also loves professional wrestling, or did. He loved it.
Now, in the 80s, there were a lot of different comedy movies that had chimpanzees in it. I don't mean the orangutan playing baseball with Burt Reynolds or Clint Eastwood. Not that one. I mean, there's like chimpanzees to make you laugh. I think it was in one of the Police Academy movies. There was one scene with a chimpanzee. I don't remember if it was 2 or 3, and I could be mistaken. And I could be mistaken and misremembering about that. But I do remember a lot of these comedy movies in the 80s had a chimpanzee bit, and this was it. This was it.
Well, James, no, that's more of an turn of phrase joke, which also they redid in episode 200, where that's one of the band episodes where they actually brought back them, and they had the whole bit where Tom Cruise is working at a fudge factory, and he's like, "Oh, look, see, Tom Cruise is a fudge packer." And people were like, "Wow, that's just engagement." Like, no, that's a callback to Cannibal the Musical.
I know, and that's why I know all about it, because you made me watch that movie, and I love you for it.
I told you you'd love it.
So the thing about Thornton, and you said that going to classes is becoming inconvenient, so he sends his secretary to be in a class. He just chose the wrong class. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and I completely forget that actress's name, but she was in so much. In the
her name is Edie something. And the weird part is, her, Dangerfield, and RDJ were in a movie together, which I would love to cover someday with you. Natural Born Killers. They were the mom and dad.
Yeah.
They were the mom and dad of Juliette Lewis.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you're right. No, James, I know, but the one we were talking about was the sequel to that episode. Yeah, which that's also the reason why Isaac Hayes quit South Park, was because. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. Edie McClurg. Sorry. She was in Small Wonders. She was in Busybody Neighbor in Small Wonders. I just remember her from that,
because she has that very unique voice.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
She does. She has that busybody neighbor kind of a hello. It's like that sort of a voice. She's great. She's in Ferris Bueller too.
Yeah,
she is in Ferris Bueller.
She was a secretary for the principal.
She was a secretary in Ferris Bueller. That's right. So weird.
Honestly, I don't know why I'm conflating her with the actress who played the receptionist of Office Space, because she would have been perfect for the role. I know it's not her, but she would have been perfect for that role.
I know. So what? Essentially, Jason comes in and he realizes, Dad, you need to do the work yourself. You can't have other people doing this thing, because what are you here for? Essentially, he's the voice of reason in this family. It's like, why are you here doing this thing with me? Yeah,
it's like, well, because you're taking advantage. You're breaking the system, and you're not supposed to be doing that.
And it also comes in when they do the first kind of diving meet. Because
Chaz puts it in his head. It's like, yeah, well, no wonder why you made the team. Your dad just paid for it. Which, in so many ways, too, given the context, Chaz is not wrong to assume that either, because he was the towel boy the other day. He did one good dive, and now he's on the team. That does seem a little bit off.
Yeah, it's all a matter of point of view.
Well, and also in modern interpretations, Chaz wouldn't be the villain in this. The villain would be the rich kid getting paid, like having his dad pay him to get into everything, essentially.
Yeah. And then, of course, finals party or whatever. It's after the pep rally, or
it's midterms.
Midterms.
And you got fucking Oingo Boingo. It's like, hey, Danny.
Yeah.
you. Whenever I see him, all I can think of is Silence of the Lambs.
Why?
Because he looks like the killer in Silence of the Lambs. I don't know why, to me he looks like Buffalo Bill. The actor played him.
I don't know how you got to Buffalo Bill with that one. So essentially, Thornton is having a wonderful time, same as he did in the bar, where he goes crazy. He loves the young girls. You know. He doesn't get fresh with them, but he is teasing them
a little bit. What's a hot time without Bubbles? Come on, Bubbles.
Yeah. I was sort of half expecting them to be topless, but there was a limit to how many naked chicks there was in this movie, I guess. I don't know.
And what I found so funny too is this is a callback to Turgeson's. The girl's wearing the sweater that says Hooters on it. I thought that was a reference to the restaurant, not the actual mascot of this fictional university.
No. Yeah. But the whole party and the whole thing just got to Jason where he just fucking got drunk, kick William Zabka's face, like Chaz face in. he went ground and pound on him. Which kind of tells you that Chaz is not that powerful. He's just cut because he's a diver.
Yeah,
essentially,
he's just in really good shape. Yeah,
swimmers are not fighters. Let's just say that, or football players, which is essentially the same thing. But he goes off on his dad, even though they do, like I said, they do have a good relationship, which essentially, this is close to the end of the movie. Their fallout and recompense and reconciliation was really fast.
It's really fast. And want to talk about really fast too? Valerie. I don't like her. I don't trust her.
Really?
I know too many girls that went to college for an MRS degree.
Oh, whatever.
Hey, they knew each other for less than a semester. They've talked to each other 3 or 4 times. One time he was a complete and total asshole to her. And, oh, yeah, I love you too.
Well,
get your life.
Chicks loves the bad boy. Let's just say that. So essentially,
his dad is a multi-millionaire.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
We'll put that aside. She is not a gold digger. How dare you? It's Terry Farrell. Put some It's Dax. I totally missed that. By the way, yes. James mentioned it, I think, at the very start, and I told him to put a pin in it. Robert Picardo was in Star Trek Voyager.
Yep.
Terry Farrell was in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. They were both alumni of Star Trek. Yeah. She was Dax. He was EMS, essentially.
And thankfully, Terry got to actually act around people that were like her height.
Kinda. So essentially, the professor, I keep forgetting his name, the English economics professor, Barbet. He's like, okay, you didn't write your paper. I'm going to challenge you.
Go ahead. Right before this was when it's like, well, where did Jason go? Because Derek goes, I don't know, maybe he's on the freeway. I think he's shooting people. And he's like, and also you got a note from Dean Martin. And then it cuts clearly to be like, Dean Martin.
Yeah. But before that, we kind of mentioned the fact that Diane essentially knows he didn't write his own paper as well.
Yeah, because it's failed it for him.
Yeah. So she failed him and not do too much hoopla about it. She didn't go to Dean Martin, but Barbet.
No, because she even says like it's not the fact that you let me down. It's not because of who you are as a person. I understand that. It's because it's clear that you did not write this.
Yeah. And Lou comes to the rescue because Lou is the fact that comes in is like, you do understand that your dad loves you no matter what, right? And this is the only sort of trigger to make Jason go back and have like reconcile with his dad. Like I said, this goes like from bad to good or from shit to okay, we're back together, sort of in 10 minutes.
And yeah, I love that too. That Lou's bit like, I'm really close and I love my sons too. One I put through college, one I put through a window.
Yeah. And Jason is the one that is like, Dad, you can't give up and just leave. Because he comes in, is like, okay, you have to pass this academic thing. I will help you. And Thornton is like, nah, fuck this. I'm gonna just go back to my life. And
I was gonna say, dude, the only time that Thornton actually really lies throughout that too is like, Dean Martin, I can't lie to you. Yes, I wrote the paper. Like, great.
And probably the only time he lied in the entire movie, because he's
but
deadly honest.
Jason turns the entire thing around on him by utilizing his grandfather's own speech that his father just gave to him earlier in the film back at him.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, this is where
Got
a montage. A montage. The only thing that made me laugh in the montage is this, where he's
like,
so tired.
I think he did a line of Coke, but it was supposed to be sugar.
I was half expecting him to pour the coffee and set it up in lines and take a snort, but I thought it was a bit too much.
So he did it with sugar. To pour the thing of cocaine into the coffee cup and pour water on it and just take a sip and go, yow, wow, wow.
The entire montage is just perfect. It is so antithetical.
They put him in the shower with Jason with a book with a plastic cover on it. It's like, yeah, okay.
I want to get that shot. That made me laugh too. Oh my god. Where is it? Oh, there. God damn it. This is just hilarious. Because essentially he is taking a shower, but he's not really taking a shower. He's just staying up.
No, what it is too is it's a cold shower, because cold showers wake you up. So he's got cold water spraying on him. He's trying to drink coffee and read this book.
All at the same time. Like I said, it's so antithetical to the Rocky. It's because Rocky 4 came out the same year. Yeah. So this is antithetical to the entire Rocky montage thing, where in Rocky 4 it was just way too much, because there were two montages.
Yes, and that's why it's so great, because that's when South Park was making fun of that, because they even had it in the ski episode, because even Rocky had a montage.
Exactly. All right, let's make a little bit of a stop, because we're right close to the end of the movie. It's not 91 minutes essentially.
Yeah, I think soup to nuts, it's 96.
Yes, exactly, 96. So we'll play our second game of the night. It is called Screen Fighter.
Round 1, fight.
Screen Fighter is where we take two movies, pit them together, and see which one is the best one. If there's no discernible difference between the two, both of them are good or both of them are bad, we fall into our criteria, which is Saturday evening, Friday evening, out with the girls, out with the boys, out with your significant other. Two movies in a vacuum. Which one will we pop in? I've got a doozy for you. High School Musical or Johnny Mnemonic?
The movie that nearly killed Keanu Reeves' career.
Nearly. Chat participation is most welcome. Guys, give us your absolute first choice out of two.
Do you know the thing is, I have to tell you, I've never seen High School Musical.
I've seen it once, and I do not want it in my life ever again.
I do have to thank them because they gave us Zac Efron, and he has been good in some other roles later on in his career.
Have you seen that latest one? Iron Claw?
Yes.
I love that movie.
Yes, about
it is insanely tragic.
Family, yeah, because it's a true story.
I love that movie. It deserves more, even though it's an A24 movie, but we'll put that aside.
There is a wrestling month that I've been cooking up that still need a couple more really good movies, because obviously The Wrestler and Iron Claw, that's off rip, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Johnny Mnemonic.
Johnny Mnemonic, yeah.
Let's just say this. If you have seen High School Musical, you would want to watch Johnny Mnemonic. All right.
Okay.
Love at First Bite. I don't think I've seen the movie.
You would actually find it really funny.
It's a comedy, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen the movie. I have seen The Shape of Water, though.
Well, this is too easy.
That's a better one, but it's easy. Shape of Water or Clockwork Orange? Easy, it's Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Best Kubrick movie ever of all time.
Yeah.
Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, or What the Fuck Were They Thinking, or Blue Streak?
Okay, first of all, Griffin, you're not a bigot. That movie's just a bad movie.
Shape of Water?
Yeah.
I'll give it some leeway. It's very R2. R2? Artiste? R2?
It's an Artour film.
Artour.
Yes.
Artour. Sorry, I forgot the R in there. Ooh, chat
Yeah, people
is
are
almost
really going for
one-sided.
T3. Like everybody's going T3.
What is your choice?
People are gonna be mad at me because it's Blue Streak. T3 was bad. It was really bad.
Get your rose-tinted goggles off your fucking heads, people. It is Blue Streak. Terminator 3 is not good.
And
it
also,
is
like,
not
whatever
good.
happened to in the Terminator mythology, whatever happened to Claire Danes' character?
She was replaced by Bryce Dallas Howard in Terminator Salvation.
Oh, well, he upgraded then. That's fine.
Yep. I've not seen Roman Holiday.
You have not seen Roman Holiday. Yeah, I know that.
All right. Grease or Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome. What a great comparison. Choose, ladies and gentlemen. This is a tough one for me. This is a tough one for me. Feelings? You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead. Go
All
ahead.
right. I'm going to go with Grease. And you know why? Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome is not good. It's not as good as you remember it.
It's not.
It's just not good. There are great bits in it, but the bits you love, you've already seen them in Mad Max Road Warrior, which is Mad Max 2.
Yes.
I would prefer to watch Grease, even though it is a musical.
I would also go with Grease, given also the concept of essentially that they both died, and this is their version of heaven, because they drive into the fucking sky at the end of the movie. What?
Now, the thing about Beyond the Thunderdome and Mad Max, what people remember from Mad Max and what you got from Fury Road is essentially the aesthetic and the way they made Beyond the Thunderdome. All right.
Well,
with
also,
the
I think with
the
Beyond
even
Thunderdome, too,
no, with the even crazier cars and the contraptions and everything, but it's essentially Mad Max 2 from the end of it and stretches up until the end.
Well, the one thing though too is I think most people conflate that movie with is just the arena scene.
Yeah,
because
I guess
it's actually a thing that has been actually utilized as a trope going forward, and it's actually been utilized in video games, like most notably like in Borderlands multiple times.
I mean, you know who did Beyond the Thunderdome better than Beyond the Thunderdome? California Love by Dr. Dre and Tupac.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Next, The Recruit or Junior. Two movies that I don't particularly like at all. Choose. Feelings. I can't go first all the time.
Okay. The Recruit, I think, was one of Colin Farrell's better earlier roles, but I have a soft place in my heart for Junior and Twins, because one of my old friends and I used to love watching the old Danny DeVito and Schwarzenegger movies.
Okay.
And it's also one of the films, I told my buddy that his dad owned the Laserdisc and everything, that he had on Laserdisc.
Oh my God. All right. So I'm going to summarize this choice just like Griffin did. Ugh. The recruit.
That's fair.
I love
no winners in this argument. So go ahead.
I love, you know what? I love the DeVito Schwarzenegger thing. It worked really well in Twins. It flat out in Junior. Crowd says the recruit, flip a coin, recruit, Junior. Recruit. It is.
I just really would like to know, where the hell is he still gonna get that baby? How is he? How?
All right.
What?
Last one. Two completely different movies. Cool Runnings, last movie of John Candy. Well, not last. I think he did one more.
East was his last. Yeah.
Cool Runnings or Disturbia?
Disturbia, I find really fun, but come on, Jamaica's got a bobsled team.
When was Disturbia fun?
Because I like darker stuff, man. You know this.
I know, but it's not fun. Anyway, I
can watch I Saw the Devil on repeat and I'd be like, I'm having a good time.
This is why we're good friends, by the way. I'm going to go with Disturbia. I didn't like Cool Runnings at all. I've seen it once. I don't want to see it again.
James, I would say if you're down to laugh at some stereotypes, especially from the early 90s, Cool Runnings is a lot of fun.
I wasn't aware that it was an actual
it's a real story. It's a real fucking story.
I wasn't aware it was a real story, which essentially Cool Runnings, even though it's a fun Disney movie, right?
Yeah.
It's a biopic, you know, with lots of artistic freedom in the biopic.
A lot of artistic license was taken on the behalf of Disney.
Exactly. I'm going to go with Disturbia because every once in a while, even I would like to dive into the dark.
So we got 3-2 then.
Misery.
Oh, no, 4-2.
It's mostly Disturbia. No? Cool Runnings, Disturbia. Fuck it. All right.
For once, the chat is in agreement with me. Ha!
I must say you swayed the crowds just there, and I picked the dark movie and you picked the lighthearted movie. I don't know what's happening over here. I don't know what's happening over here, but I'm not sure.
I think it's because my AC is broken and the heat's getting to me. I got the vapors, Smith.
Jesus Christ. Holy shit. So, Thornton Mellon is essentially... Now, do you know where he is? There's something in my notes that I've saved until this point. Do you know where Thornton Mellon is? Chat participation is most welcome.
I have the idea. No.
This is this same room where the Flashdance girl had her test.
Oh,
it is the exact same place because it fit really well with what they were trying to do, which, to be honest, in terms of like filmmaking, this shot is really well put together.
Yeah.
Right? Is really well put together. Not only do you have the juxtapose of the guy versus essentially the death squad, the judgment, he is also not sitting straight. He is leaning because he is essentially dead tired.
Half asleep, yeah.
Yeah. Half asleep.
Yes. Double Fett, I love that too. Like, I have one question for you. In 27
parts.
First two when they were like, Mr. Mellon, the Council of Trent.
Yeah. I want to get to this. This is going outside of that hall. This is
the thing that makes absolutely zero sense. They're like, I'm into you too. Cool, rock and roll. Not I love you too. And she even says, like, you do realize this is the most you've ever spoken to me, except for the one time when you were outrageously drunk.
Yeah.
I love you.
Now, essentially, Thornton is facing not only I want to say Barbara.
Expulsion.
No,
Barbie, and also
he's also facing Diane as well.
Yeah.
And Diane is asking him questions, but she's also coaxing the
which
answer.
is so odd, but also she was in the montage training him.
Exactly. But he is the thing about it, they set this up as he is so tired he can't even answer the question from the girl who taught him the answer. Essentially.
Yeah. But again, then that one shot that you showed though with Terry and I forgot his name. Terry
Keith Gordon.
Keith Gordon. Yeah, that's when he looks exactly like the guy who plays Squeak. Like it was spot on.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, James. If you've left, if you watch this on replay, thank you very much for supporting the channel. I have to go, everyone. Thanks for having me. We love for you to just be in the chat. You don't have to say anything. You really don't have to participate in the games. We just love it that we have a little bit of feedback. Mm-hmm. So we got, gauged the different opinions. We're here to have a conversation. Me, this fucking guy, love to talk about these movies.
Yep.
We're just in our living room with all of you sitting around. That is essentially it. But I really do thank you for supporting the channel. And thank you. Let's go on. Let's keep going. All right.
So we got the bit at the last bit of Thornton's basically dressing down of him. In the last part, he goes, the answer is 4?
Yeah,
and that look over of shocked expression of Paxton Whitehead. Like
correct. Yes.
Then we have Diane's test of do not go gently into that good light. It means I don't take shit from nobody.
Yes, I love that. Essentially, that is what it is. By the way, I love that poem.
Yeah.
Don't go gently into the night. I love that poem so much. It's one of the only poems that I actually know. So the thing about the dive meet, they cheat like a motherfucker.
Oh yeah, have to love it. Derek going like, you never see people heckle divers.
Yes, essentially, I can't. So first of all, he's using a horn. Nobody comes in and takes it from him, an air horn, and then they use like a mirror
to shine a light directly into his eyes.
At the guys, and it was like, and Chaz, and this is the moment where I was like, he turned from Johnny at the beginning of the movie to this, not Chaz, but Chad kind of guy. And it rubbed me the wrong way.
Well, but it's also too where we mentioned before, like he's a quintessential 80s villain, but he's not upping the notches, like he is at like a 6 where others are at like an 8 or a 9. He's just kind of a dickhead. That's it.
And this is exactly what the director told him. It's like, I want to see the bad guy, not this dude.
Yeah.
But I guess he kept it in.
Yeah, but I love the fact that Jason has the line back to him where it goes like, you're just gonna end up just like your dad. Like, I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so.
And Chaz fucks up his dive.
Yeah, and Jason
has like a 9.5. Yeah.
But they still need
an asshole being like, oh, my calf hurts. I got a cramp. And they're like, hey, let's bring in this old fuck to see if he's gonna die today.
Yeah.
Come on in. It'd be like an old school, like if Blue survived up into at the athletic competition. Like, we're gonna put in Blue.
Now the thing about this, when I was a kid, I used to watch Summer Olympics, like up till like even mid-20s. I love the Summer Olympics. I love everything about the Summer Olympics: swimming, diving, track and field, fucking judo, but whatever I could watch in sport, even fucking the artistic like the twirling of the thing and the ball and all that stuff and the gymnasium thing, even that I can watch. I used to love
what Frank the Tank did in Old School, the
exactly
floor
what Frank the
competition.
Tank did.
Yeah,
everything about that I love. I knew even back then he can't jump from fucking.
You can't do that and land it perfectly twice and then do a perfect dive. No.
Yeah, you cannot do that. There's a specific type of dive you do from high up and then from lower and then lower. So the triple Lindy is so fucking out there. It is unreal.
But you do have to love it, like especially now watching this in retrospect, because when you watch this as a kid, you're like, oh, that's cool that he is able to do that, and how like it's immediately like that's another dude. All of them. Yeah, someone else. The other guy.
I mean, all of them you can tell it's other people.
Yeah.
It didn't really bother me. It's that the fact that this was a 10.10 and like 10.0 kind of a dive, and it's an illegal dive.
And wouldn't that be in the record of all collegiate sports too? Because a 54-year-old man doing that dive and getting a 10.0, but like,
yeah. That is a moment. Exactly. And then this is the point where it completely lost me.
Yeah,
I've watched this part.
Isn't he still a freshman? Why is he giving a commencement speech?
I've watched this part 3 times. And each time he says, the first freshman to give a valedictorian speech in a graduation. But he did not graduate. I mean, Jason didn't even graduate. He was there supporting his dad with his new main squeeze, but he wasn't graduating because he didn't have the rope and the cape and the cap, whatever.
The cap,
right?
Down. Yeah. No, you're fine.
What is this situation? And all I can say is they needed Rodney Dangerfield to give the last speech.
Yeah.
That is the how do you get there is.
I will say, by the way, apparently a lot of kids after I went to university decided to take his commencement speech to heart and never kind of left home because there was that whole big old crisis.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's just history for you.
Yeah.
A lot of people, let me hit this one up from Griffin. A lot of people agreed that the movie shouldn't have had a time skip and it's their graduation. It's weird. It's sort of like you have the time skip to the graduation. So he graduates with his son, but also he's not really graduating, and neither that is his son, but it is a graduation ceremony.
And also he would be at least one semester behind his son because
at least. I mean, you can make that up, but whatever.
Yeah, but is he gonna make that up? It's fucking Thornton Mellon. He's not gonna make it. He's not taking summer classes.
Honorary masters in my head canon. Whatever, Paul. It doesn't take away from the movie. The movie is hilarious. Is a straight up. It's not a insane slapstick kind of a comedy, but it is a comedy tailor-made for Rodney Dangerfield and his act. But it does fit within the confounds of what they were trying to go for. And yes, this is not the only time skip that they had. They had a lot of their entire Fallout was over and done with essentially within a few days, right? And there's they didn't stew the whole father-son kind of falling out bit. It essentially got over with really quickly.
Yeah.
Being
And there's
sort of a
there's
time
also
skip.
the fact as well that just how major universities work, like you actually have to be an incumbent on your at the start of a new semester. Like when he came down, he just went, here's a whole bunch of money, I'm a freshman now, like, but you're starting in the middle of a semester, like right before midterms. That doesn't work because technically you've already failed all your courses. Did it absentee?
There's things that don't actually match, but they get in the way of telling the story of this dad who's trying to keep his son in college because he wasn't good at school. And nothing about Jason is like Jason is not good in school. Jason, once he's in the library and he's talking
it's actually shown he's actually quite intelligent. He's
actually
apt at his
quite
academics.
talented. He just doesn't give a fuck. That's
it's more
why
that he couldn't understand the reason why he's doing this when how his dad already succeeded outside, and then also how the fact that his dad came in, how Chaz kind of lambasted him for it, like his dad bought him everything. So it's like, well then, he says it during his drunken rant. Well, what does it matter? This is all just a joke anyway, Valerie.
Yeah. And that's the whole bit of the entire movie is essentially it's a well-written comedy at points. There's a lot of story plot holes that you can pick your nose at or you can put your finger on. It's like, look, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but
I agree. But it essentially what it does, it's giving you a 90-minute entertaining comedy.
Yeah. And what I was going to say is, to your point of you're saying how this was kind of tailor-made for Rodney Dangerfield, it was the same thing that I mentioned way before at the beginning of the podcast. Was I think it was Head of State was perfect for Robin Williams because it basically just took his stand-up at the time and just interjected it into that script.
Yeah,
and it was very apropos and it fit timelessly.
Yeah, and it fit within the story that they were trying to deliver, and it worked well with Head of State. It worked well with Back to School. Loved Rodney Dangerfield, and you love this movie. Hate his shtick, and you're probably not gonna have a great time with this movie.
No.
But in all intents and purposes, I enjoyed myself watching it. It's not the best comedy. It's not the one where it's like I have to watch it. But it's a great option for I've seen everything. Give me something maybe that I have not seen. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about people who have maybe never seen this movie before.
Yeah. And what I would say, like, this is a perfect film for especially Screen Fighter, where this is like, yeah, it's on. Okay.
Yeah. It's awesome.
I'll get a chuckle out of that one scene. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Cool. This comes to a close. Now, next week, we are starting a very dangerous month. Now, usually on the show, and certainly on the channel, I try to be a little bit more positive.
This is going to be fun.
But how about we go a little bit more negative with pointing out really bad comic book adaptations? Yes. Now, next week is 4th of July weekend, and Mr. All My Feelings will not be here.
Yep.
If I don't get a guest, so it's going to be a bye week. But do yourself a favor and watch Tank Girl. That is the movie we might do next week. If there's a bye week. If there's a bye week and I can't get a guest, so there will not be a show because it's not fun to do the show by myself. But then the week after that, because it's bad comic book adaptations, the week after that, we're going to do Batman and Robin because it's very ice to see you. Right? So go watch those two movies.
The Ice Age.
The Age, yes.
If Batman's credit card expires when? Never.
Never. Right. What we're essentially trying to do is we're going to go with comic book adaptations that are so bad, they're exquisitely bad. So we'll have a good time pointing and laughing. Let's just say that.
Yes.
All right. So essentially next week is going to be Tank Girl, and the week after that is Batman and Robin. It's Batman and Robin. So I hope we'll have a show next week. I really hate to miss a show, but you know, essentially it is what it is. So remember, guys, go watch that bad movie, watch the other bad movie, and come see us next week or the week after that. Essentially, if you're in the US, and I won't see you till 2 weeks from now, have a great Independence Day. Enjoy yourselves. Don't drink too much and enjoy the fabulous barbecue. And remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. We'll see you next week or the week after that.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.